Hi, this is Thomas Brown from Qualia Counseling Services, a specialized cognitive behavioral therapy clinic in Kitchener, Waterloo, Brantford, and the Oswego First Nations Reserve. And we also offer all of our services virtually through phone and online counseling. Well, here we are, well into this pandemic thing that we're doing worldwide. From my calculations, we're on Wednesday of week 6 of social distancing, of lockdown, of being in our homes, and avoiding contact with pretty much anything outside the door. How you doing? I think collectively we're all kind of getting a little bit bored. We're all getting kind of anxious and maybe a little bit antsy for things to start shifting and changing for us. We miss hugging our friends, and I've heard people say, I miss going to work and sitting at my desk. We miss getting our hair cut, and we've all got kind of this rocking our new pandemic hairstyles, whatever that might look like for us. And we're longing for things to get back to normal. And yet there isn't an end in sight for us yet. We're kind of hearing about that, but that there's nothing yet for us to hang our hats on. And I'm even noticing in the media that things are shifting. It sort of at the start was more around rallying together. We can find a way through this together. Let's support each other. And over these weeks, it's shifted, and I'm noticing now more stories about finger pointing and blaming, and the lack of resources and who's at fault for that kind of thing. And I think it's really easy for all of us collectively to fall into that kind of negative way of thinking and feeling, and kind of succumbing to it sometimes. When morale is low, it's easy to just maintain that and stay in that and feel crummy. And so that question has been going through my mind. What do we do now? What do we do in week 6 to get through the day, to find that hope and to look forward to whatever is around the corner? Remember when it all started? Remember several weeks ago, week 2 and 3 especially, I think, when the media really was about pulling together. People were writing signs on their sidewalks and putting signs up in their windows and waving at their neighbors and finding ways to connect. And on the internet, there was so much positivity kind of floating around and reminding us that we could get through this. Remember that? I would say that now is the time that we need that. It was nice to have that, 3 or 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago, but it's now. It's now that we need that. If you had a routine that was working really well for you 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks ago, now is the time that you need to really engage in that. If you had things that you were doing for self-care that worked before and you've slipped out of it, now is the time we need it. You have to kind of think about a marathon. I've never run a marathon, but I would imagine that at the start, we're excited, we're getting going, we're running, and there's energy, and this is new. But it's in the middle of the marathon when we're getting tired, there's still a long way to go. And it's then that we dig into our training, we dig into our skill, we dig into what we know about ourselves to get through to the end of the marathon, wherever that looks. And I think that that's really similar now. So for anybody who was like reading blogs and doing those kinds of things, get back to it. For anyone who was making sure that they were getting outside and connecting with people and finding a schedule in the day, remember that. Keep doing that. And I want to let you know that I'm right there with you. I've said in several of my other videos, I'm here with my kids and my partner. We're doing the e-learning thing. We're trying to get some work done. We're trying to get outside, but it's easy to fall into that. And I know that over this past weekend, I was having a really hard time. I was just feeling quite discouraged and easily frustrated and irritable. And I wasn't finding kind of anything to get through that. And on Sunday night, I convinced myself, or maybe my negative thinking and feeling worked to say, you know what, tomorrow just let yourself sleep in. You'll feel better for it. Don't do your morning routine. Don't do the things that you usually do to get going in the morning. Just allow yourself to sleep. So I did. And boy, was that day bad. It was not any better than the day before. And it wasn't until later in Monday that I kind of did a few of those morning things and then got back on track on Tuesday with my morning routines and with my exercise and the time for myself and all those other stuff, that then I started to feel better and more like myself. So I'm right there with you. I guess my message for you today is remember the stuff from weeks 1 and 2 and 3 and start using it now. It's in the middle of the marathon that we need to use this stuff more than ever. Don't forget it. Reach out, connect, take care of yourself, be with your loved ones, find structure and scheduling in your day, look for positivity, invite beauty into your home, get outside. Those are the things we need now more than ever when morale is low and energy is low and when the finish line isn't yet in sight. We can do this. We can get through it together, and it's now time to kind of dig in and really find the way to do that together, taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other.